All right, how's it going, everyone? I'm Jorajuria, and this is my cooking show for Hospitality Management 416. And today we're going to be cooking chicken and sausage gumbo. Obviously, that's something that we can all relate to if you are from Louisiana. And everyone is going to have their own preference, whether they learn that from their relatives, their grandmas, or something like that. One thing we will not be using is tomatoes. We do not use that in the gumbo. So I'm going to take ingredients that I will be using to make the chicken and sausage gumbo is, of course, chicken and sausage. And the type of sausage that I use is it's Cajun chicken sausage. And I actually just recently started using that, and the gumbo tastes even better than before. So some of the ingredients, some of the seasonings we're going to be using is Zatarain's cayenne pepper, some garlic powder, onion powder, some slap your mama, and then also some shrimp and crab oil. Now, I never used to do this. My dad passed me down this little recipe, but I'm only going to be using 2 capfuls, but it really makes a difference in how it tastes. Obviously, we're going to be making our own roux, so we're going to need some flour and some canola oil. Then we got some seasoning blend that I will be using, and also some cut okra. So I'm going to get all this prepared, and then we'll see. Alright, so first thing we're going to be doing is making the roux. So we're going to need 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of canola oil. So I'm just going to pour that real quick. Obviously flour gets everywhere, so you don't want to get it before everything. Right, drop that in there. Go clean this. Alright, now we're going to add our 1 cup of canola oil. Sorry, everything's not open yet. Pour that in here. Alright, so I'm going to start cooking the roux. Now that it's on there, we're going to be using low heat because this does burn pretty fast, and you always want to keep a steady hand on it and constantly stir. So the type of color that we're going to be shooting for is about a dark peanut butter color, as you will see as the video progresses. So you just want to keep on stirring. You don't have to use a whisk, but I recommend it. It's the best for actually stirring it. So. Also, hope you're enjoying the Cajun music in the background. Nice little touch, always. So I'm gonna let this sit there for a little while, and I'll come back to you when the color gets a little dry. So while that's burning a little bit, I'm gonna start cutting up the meats. Always make sure to wash my hands constantly. As I'm dealing with chicken, you obviously don't want to get that on any of the seasonings or anything. So yeah, so I'm gonna put it. So now we got the chicken on the cutting board, and now that the chicken is done, just gonna check on our roux here. So it is starting to get that dark peanut butter brown color, but nothing wrong about going a little darker. So just gonna keep on stirring this till it gets a little bit darker. And now I'm about to start cutting up the sausage, and I'll get back to y'all after that. Although I do want to say that when it does come to the chicken, I know a lot of people, they do use bone-in chicken. I personally never liked the bone-in chicken. Nothing wrong with that. Just I don't really like dealing with the bone sometimes, like whenever you're picking it up and stuff like that. But either way is good. I just use boneless. So I moved the chicken to a different area real quick because I am about to cut up the sausage. But I did want to show y'all the roux and how it's looking right now. So I do have a big family, and so I did have to add some more flour and canola oil. And it is always 1-to-1 whenever you are adding more roux or anything like that. So I added, again, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of canola oil. And this roux is looking amazing. It has beautiful color. So I'm gonna let this sit just for a little bit longer. I'm gonna cut that sausage, and I'll get right back to y'all. All right, now that we got the sausage cut, I'm gonna mix that in here. Now, we will be seasoning it obviously in the pot, but there's nothing wrong about adding a little seasoning. So I will lightly seasoning this and that, so. All right, so now I will be adding seasoning blend into the roux, 2 bags each. one. Tap the other. Alrighty, so now I'm going to stir this together, and then I will add something I didn't say in the beginning of the video, but we will be using chicken broth instead of water. I know a bunch of people do use water, but without the skin and the bones of the chicken, obviously, when you add chicken broth, you get that same exact flavor. So I'm gonna stir this real quick, and then I'll show y'all an update. All right, so we got the seasoning blend in there right now. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start pouring my chicken broth. Gotta be careful when you're pouring this as well, especially on the start. All right, and we're gonna add one more. No, it comes out pretty slow, but we're getting there. All right, so now I'm gonna stir this all together, and then eventually I'm gonna be starting adding my meat. So now we got that seasoned. So now I will be adding okra into here, and that color is really looking good. So let me just set the camera right there. Sorry for the camera work, it's been kind of a disaster. So, all right, so we got the cut okra, pour that in there. Now, by the end of the video, or the end of the gumbo cooking, a lot of this okra is going to be cooked down, and it really brings that flavor out of it. So you're not going to have okra chunks going everywhere by the end that the gumbo is finished. So pour that in there. One thing I did forget to mention was I will be raising this up to 8. We really want to get a nice boil out of that. Eventually, I will be adding my meats, and I will be adding at least 1 or 2 more chicken broths, but that will be at the end of the video. So, but everything is looking good right now. Just gonna keep on stirring. Again, sorry for the camera work. So I'm gonna keep on stirring. You never want it to burn at the bottom, so you want to keep a constant stir. And again, since I'm cooking a gumbo, this relates to actually, or it's what I put in one of the discussion posts, but talking about something being authentic. This is different throughout every single household in Louisiana. You're not gonna have basically a lot of gumbos that taste the exact same, just because everyone has their own tradition. But it doesn't mean that what's authentic to me, may not be authentic to you, and that's completely fine. So, right now I am stirring this. I'm going to be adding the crab oil now. Now you gotta be careful with this because this can obviously really bring some flavor in. So we're only gonna be doing just 2 cups of this. All right, so I poured the crab oil in. And just talking, I'm gonna keep on stirring right now, but just talking about gumbo in general. It's interesting to see how people from different areas actually come and try gumbo. Louisiana food in general, but gumbo is obviously one of our biggest hits. So I actually played hockey for 20 years. I'm 22, and there's actually a junior hockey team in Lafayette, which is ages 16 to 20. So anyway, a lot of my teammates were from literally all over the world. I mean, we had some from Finland and Russia and everything like that. So it was always interesting whenever they would come down here and we would let them try the gumbo. But literally, there's not one person who said that this is bad. They all just fell in love with it. So, neat little story about traveling, people traveling and trying different things. So, pretty shortly here, I'm going to be putting my meats and stuff in. And of course, I'm going to be adding seasoning as I go, especially in my taste test files that I will get to later. But as of right now, I'm just going to keep on stirring right now. Show y'all what this color is. All right, so now that we got this into a nice little boil, about to add some seasonings. So here we got the cayenne. So I'll pour a little bit of that in there. Now we got our onion powder. our garlic. And last but not least, some Slap Ya Mama, or Tony's, as most people call it. So about to start all this. Just wash my hand. So now I'm going to be putting it in. Okay, so I did not add this ingredient in the beginning of the video, but sometimes I just do things on the fly. This is another one of the things that, it sounds crazy, but it does make an enhancement on the gumbo. So I'm only going to pour about yay much. Alright. Now, I will get another chicken roll and add that. This is going to be the last one as well. So. So, put that to the side. Let's stir this in real quick. Sorry for this camera yet again. I guess you really can't turn it around sometimes. But that is what it's looking like so far. Looking pretty good. Alright, so the gumbo is now finished. So, pour it in for a second. And that is my chicken and sausage